Don't Blink, it's your boy Ink. We have a season or series or episode. Technically, it's a complicated one. It's Chili Pepper Boy Christmas Special. So, Chili Pepper Boy Christmas Special takes place before season one. It takes place way before, but it was filmed after season one. And what that's important is because the season one was a pilot. The whole season was a pilot. They were meant to shoot. There's this like one shot before Trailer Park Boy. One more shot. I think it's a very young Julian and Ricky. Bubble is not even in the shit, and there's Pat Roach, which plays Randy in the show, right? So we have this one shot, and then there were a lot of people that were working on the show decided to go and produce Trailer Park Boy. They got a contract because of the one show. Then they added a character like Bubbles, right? But the problem with that is, although we knew the character where they came from, one shot became very hard to find. First of all, second of all, we enter in this world without really knowing what happened. Like they wanted to showcase the character, and long story short, if the pilot is very hard to find, the pilot is missing a lot of character, then the pilot feels out of order. So technically, a pilot, what it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be a show where you meet the characters, you meet who they are, their aspiration, their needs, their angle, and then you understand. Okay, well, this is where we start. But if you start a season and your first pilot include not even half, bro, talking about Julian, Ricky, and Pat Roach. That's it. No Lucy, no Sarah, no Bubble, no Ray, no Leahy. And Leahy plays a huge part of the show, right? So we had this, and it is kind of crazy because it's after the first season. I told you multiple times how I think season two is better because season one was we weren't sure what they wanted to do. So imagine having the quality of season two in a pilot, and they could have done a pilot, but I think it's better they did it like that, right? For example, in season one, Randy was just a normal supervisor. In season two, it's a male prostitute. So like a big shift, which is too much of a shift for it to happen organically, right? But with a show, for example, like this Christmas special, and all it took was that, and it's fantastic, phenomenal, because that's a brilliant way of shifting the focus. For example, in the very first episode, Jamie and T are lackeys of Julian, kind of like Corey and Trevor, technically. They're four of them together, and then because of that, they end up in jail. And because they end up in jail, they become Jamie becomes a rapper, which is J Rock becomes a rapper, and that's the whole character development. And since it happened before season one, it doesn't affect the changes from season two. Even though season two is a very different show, it doesn't affect because technically the pilot happened before season one, so the everything that you saw in the pilot didn't need to be implemented for season two because it was implemented in the pilot. I know it doesn't make sense, okay? So we have this is the season one, right? This is season two, right? And this is the 5 hours energy. Hmm? So you take season one and you place everything that you know inside of it, right? And then you have season two and you have this. You're like, what the fuck happened? Well, this is your answer. It's 5 hour energy. And why it's so important is because you can kind of like, so imagine, okay, in a show, there's something called retcon, right? And the retcon is super important because it's an information we knew that changed. Well, what if the information that we knew wasn't a retcon? It was just a more dialed down vision. Because Jim Leahy is still a supervisor. In the first season, he doesn't drink. And in the second season, he does drink. Now, you understand that in Christmas, he always had a problem with alcohol. And Barbara, his ex-wife, was the one to stop him from drinking. So now that they're not together, he's back to drinking, right? And the second season, he's also having Trin, so he's very mellowed out. In the first season, we meet Randy was a male prostitute. So when you announce that Randy was a male prostitute, it doesn't matter. We have a story of why Bubble, Julian, and Ricky are so close, because Bubble parents abandoned him, right? And they leave him this gift and this letter explaining why they abandoned him, how Bubble's father had gambling issue and he got involved with the wrong people. Now, you're seeing the boys like how close they are. They're not related, and you wonder why it happened. And in the first season, you don't explain why Bubble he lives in the shed. You don't explain that his parents left him, right? But it's more beautiful in the small details. Trevor and Corey are very loyal to Julian, right? J-Rock is less loyal. He's not disloyal, but for example, he's gonna do his own thing. He's gonna be cool with the boys. He's gonna be cool with Ricky and Julian and Bubbles. More Bubbles. He's gonna be cool with them, but he's not gonna get involved with them. And the reason is because in the pilot episode they got some trouble, right? So the first episode it was stealing gifts from cars and reselling them, right? And that's basically what it is. So basically, again, it served more as an introduction to characters. We got the car of Ricky is missing the door, and we're not sure how he missed the door. Well, in the first episode, we see why, right? There's a moment where Julian gives the car to Ricky, and he gives the car to Ricky, and in first season also, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And again, it's small details. There's a details where Ricky and Julian, Ricky's always trying to talk about dope. Always trying to talk about business. And in this episode, you can see that Bubble is not aware of it. He doesn't like it, and you see it when they said that there's a relationship between Randy and Leahy, which means that Leahy was always bisexual. It's not new, right? And in the first season, there's a scene where you see Leahy who's wearing a dress, he's wearing a wig, and Randy was wearing this costume. And you ask yourself, but they're always gay? Well, technically, we know why Renault came, and we know that Renault and Leahy had something before, right? Leahy was calling Randy Smokey, and Smokey was calling Leahy Simon. And that's the name he gave out. Right? There's another super important part: the introduction of the saying, the way she goes. We have to go to church, and you see Ray. He's always in the Bible, and he's always there, and you see that he's bringing Ricky and the boys to church, and even though the boys don't give a shit about the church, you see that there's something that he's trying to implement. So when it comes in later season, that he's trying to implement that. It's understood why, and it's not out of order. There's a reason why Leahy drink in the first drunken mess. It's happening in this episode. In the first season, we didn't get to see it. So in the first episode, we didn't get to see drunk Leahy. In the second episode, the first one, he's mess. He's super drunk, and you wonder what the fuck happened. Well, and even though the second episode it starts with the part going to complete shit. Well, if you look at the Christmas special, it kind of went to shit there too, right? So again, it's more about what's being established. The show is really good. It's 45 minutes. It's there that Bubble gets his bubble machine. By getting his bubble machine, that's how we got the name Bubbles. That's super cool too. We have the first implement of Ricky and Lucy and how they fight and how Lucy is not satisfied with Ricky, right? So there's all of these small things that make sense later on that are super important. I love you guys. Peace.